Hello, I have a computer program that allows me to do a voiceover. So I thought I'd give it a try, I guess, and tell you a little bit about my pony. Um, I've had him since he was 6 months old. Um, we've done a lot of things together. We've done dressage, show jumping, eventing, team penning, trail riding, nursing home visits, parades, swimming. He pulled me in the snow in a toboggan once. Um, I'm sure there's more things that we've done. Oh, we even tried barrel racing one time. It's really not that exciting. Um, but he likes to run. He really enjoys a good gallop. He enjoys running, so he naturally had a lot of fun doing the team penning, chasing cows. Um, so my goals personally are to improve my position. Um, I'm not really sure why I started doing this. Um, but I know I've been doing it for a very, very long time, which is when I sit on a horse, I tend to sit very much on my pubic bone instead of my butt bones. And I believe that's incorrect. Um, I want to be able to improve my skill in the saddle enough to where I can ride the big horses and actually sit on their movement in all three gaits. Um, Essentially, I just want to be the best rider I can be um, by classical standards. I do enjoy competition, although it's not my number one focus. I would like to get back to it at some point. I don't think there's a point to competing if we're really not doing that well. So then we gotta focus on improving. Um, Peanut was a little frisky as we came in here. Usually I start him, warm him up on a long rein, but he was a little frisky. So we got to start out on a shorter one today. And I should have wore um, lighter colored breeches, which I will do next time. Okay, and then this video. So the video, I unfortunately I don't always have somebody who can do the videotaping for me, or someone who's even willing to. Um, I live very rurally, and there's just not a lot of horse people around. So there's not a lot of people who can share or understand my desire to do this. So today what I did was I put the camcorder on a tripod on the back of my truck, and I backed the truck up to the fence, and here we go. Soon, however, I will have a Pixio GPS system which zooms the camera automatically and follows me around an arena, so we can go out in a bigger area too and ride there. And then it'll be zoom in and zoom out so you can see better and more up close. That's also part of the reason why I chose to ride in this small paddock today, because obviously if I'm out in a big field I can't tell how far away from the camcorder I actually am. I want to improve my hands too. Um, I was very fortunate to have been able to ride for Colonel Funsigner. I was a working student at his place for a few months, and they had some really well trained horses there. Um, they did not require a lot of contact, so I did uh, begin riding early on without a lot of contact. So um, I don't know. I guess as I watch people and as I learn and move forward, I'm like, is that a bad thing? Is that a good thing? Thinking it's a bad thing when it comes to young horses, which I really like working with young horses. I would like to be able to be, my dream, of course, is if to be so good that I could ride like Funsigner did with all four reins in one hand. You know, so good you can do that, or ride with three reins in one hand and one in the other. I mean, it's just so effortlessly, like having silk ribbons in your fingers, without causing any disruption in the horse. I would love to be able to do that too. So Peanut and I have a track record of. So here's our faults, a history of faults. One of the things is, and I believe it comes from my positioning, is that when we do transitions, so mainly downward transitions and lateral work or leg yielding, he tends to get tense and his head pops up, and there's nothing smooth about the actual movement itself. Here we're not as straight as we should be. But so that was a consistent problem, and I'm not sure if that was, if I've been unknowingly bracing my back during this or what, but there's not that smooth, there's no smoothness to the transition. And then when we're actually in the movement, say the leg yield or the shoulder in or shoulder four, the entire time we're in it, it's not smooth either, and I don't know if that's because our entrance into it was not smooth, so then the rest of it just, once it falls apart, it stays apart. So our turn on the forehands, I guess I would say we probably fly through it like we just did, more often than doing it smoothly. Um, that's been a that's been in our history a consistent issue also, but I suppose it applies to the transitional problem. Something I am kind of proud of is that with not just Peanut, but I guess I'm pretty consistent with all the horses I ride, is that when we stop, we stop square. I do thank Colonel Funsigner for that, because um, he taught me a long time ago, that just kind of showed me that when you watch the horse go and you watch them halt, that they they tend to have a personal pattern. Like they'll always stop. I don't know. Say the last foot to stop is always the left hind, or 9 out of 10 times the left hind stops. Well, that's probably their dominant way of stopping, and so if I can observe and see what their natural way of stopping is, then I can work with that and develop a consistent habit, I guess, which is what I think I've been able to do. I realize that this video lessons are probably not the ideal way of having lessons. I asked to do it just because of right now my lack of time to try and travel. Um, I do think it would be wonderful if we could establish a group of people here and have you come out and give us lessons. I do have a friend who moved back from California who used to ride with Eric, and well, there's two of us. So if hoping that eventually we can find other people like us that would be interested and have you come to Wisconsin. Of course, once school's done, then it'll be a lot easier for me to travel. So, anyways, this video, especially this one, since it's not able to zoom, if it's not, I will not be offended if you say you do not want to teach me on this video. So basically, on the other hand, I'm also willing to pay full price for a lesson on this video. I do understand completely what I'm asking, and I am willing to pay full price, full lesson price for, I guess you would say, a less than ideal way of method of instruction, I guess. And if the voiceover is a distraction, you know, I can not do that next time too. I think that was the only time this entire ride that he didn't stand nice and square with his hind legs underneath him. You know, the funny thing is, I remember I was really trying not to collapse my hip when I was doing some of these things. And I think I inadvertently did so anyways. And actually, I don't think it's my hip that collapses. I think it's actually my shoulder that collapses into my hip. Or my rib cage that collapses into my hip. Yeah, we really kind of struggled with this today, the haunches in. But that's, I think, in general, another thing we kind of... The connection's not good. That first one was good, but um, generally speaking, we don't have nice looking turn on the haunches. There you go. Really bad turn on the haunches. I know that when they fall out in the last part of the circle like that is when you should be doing the turn on the haunches on the wall, but somehow it still happens on the wall too. Yeah, I really don't. I think we just started trotting with like, or I started trotting him with no actual intention of anything. That was for my last bit of fun before we stop. Normally, when I ride, I have a purpose, some kind of goal in mind. I think today's goal is basically just to kind of show you what Peanut knows how to do and give you an idea of where I'm at. I became hypothyroid a couple years ago since I've slowly gained a lot of weight compared to where I've used to be, and it really kind of makes a big difference in all aspects of life, including riding. So in some respects I feel like I have to sort of, well, continue to attempt to lose weight, which I do, but also sort of in a way relearn how to work things with all the extra blubber. He's such a fun pony. He definitely knows me, and he knows me probably better than I want him to sometimes. He's so tolerant. I used to be able to stand on him. I obviously wouldn't do that now, having gained all the weight. Like, slide off his butt, could stand on him. Great, pony other horses with him. Just do a lot of good things. That's my baby.